And hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Real Talk on 92.5 WLSD The Vault, Friday, May 10th, 2024. It's going to be a fun show tonight. We have Jeremiah and his lovely lady in studio tonight. Now, your microphone is on as well. Okay. You just have to pull it down some. I think it might be.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay, there we go. So, yeah, thanks for joining tonight, everyone, on this. Is it kind of rainy outside tonight? Still?
Yeah.
It's soggy.
It's soggy.
Good night.
Now, there used to be a thing, you remember when cereals used to put like little toys inside the cereal box?
Oh, yeah.
So Captain Crunch used to put these little toys in there called the Soggies. Do you remember those at all?
No.
When I was a kid, sometimes I would put the Captain and then his arch enemies, which the Soggies.
Oh, man.
So look those up sometimes. True
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
But they put them inside of the Captain Crunch, which is a great cereal, but it's like Freddy's blades just cutting your mouth.
Oh, yeah. The roof of your mouth is going to pay for it.
Yes.
Half a bowl of cereal and half a bowl of mouth blood.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to talk about I'd say this would be a comedy classic, don't you think so?
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
We're going to be talking about Tommy Boy. And yeah, I'm glad. It's been a long time since I'd watched this movie. And I've been feeling a little bit of a nostalgia depression lately. And this kind of
It'd bring you out of it,
yeah,
won't it?
it did. But before we get into that, please go to all of our social media pages. That's the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, The Other People's Show. And we're going to get into it. So, how many times would you all think that you've seen Tommy Boy? Jeremiah, what about yourself?
I would have to say, at least a handful of times, 10, 12 times.
Okay. So 2 handfuls.
Yeah. Yes, 2. Well, if it was 12, it'd be like
2.5
yes,
handfuls.
very close to it.
Right. See, I only have 9.5 fingers. This pinky doesn't really count because it won't close all the way now.
Well, that's
So yeah, I had an injury. I'll have to show you the. I'll show you the X-rays on my pinky. This was from years ago, though.
oh no.
Yeah, it's that one there.
Yeah.
It will
thing
not
don't
close
look
all the
right.
way. No.
Ouch. That looks painful, dude.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't as much as you would expect, but not being able to it really kept me from doing a lot of things like doing push-ups.
Yeah.
It would hurt to take my arm out of my shirt because it happened in the winter. So it was a lot of distress, a lot of mental distress.
Oh, I guarantee it.
And
man.
I lost probably 25 pounds because of that.
That's a lot of your strength if you're doing push-ups, man. That's not strength so much as
But balance, yeah.
That would be bad to have a broke pinky and trying to do push-ups, and that's going to kill your self-esteem right there alone.
And never having it heal
Yeah.
correctly. This is after it's healed
Oh,
in
man.
surgery. So,
Yeah, that's
Not good.
Dude.
but anyway, we're going to get into Tommy Boy tonight, which is about after his auto parts tycoon father dies, the overweight, underachieving son teams up with a snide accountant to try to save the family business. And this pretty much sums up, in a nutshell, the basic idea of Tommy Boy, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it does. That's pretty much the story behind it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just basically a rat chase.
Yeah.
Them
yeah.
trying to, sell their product after his dad died, and, a lot of failures along the way, but they finally end up finding their way at the end of the, towards the end.
Yeah.
Sort of finding their way, but it's definitely a roller coaster of a movie, man.
Yeah,
That's
and
why
it's
I love it
and
so much.
It's so I'd forgotten. Well, once I'd seen another, like certain scenes, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that
Yeah,
scene."
me too, man.
And it was one of those I was really grateful that we decided to view that one this week. But the director Peter Segal, he has directed a lot of movies from the early '90s all the way to 2020, and you may have heard of some of these: Naked Gun, 33 1/3, which actually, I don't know if you know, but it has O.J. Simpson in
Yeah.
it.
Yep. Sure did.
Tommy Boy, My Fellow Americans, Nutty Professor 2, Anger Management, 50 First Dates, The Longest Yard, Get Smart, Grudge Match, Second Act, and My Spy. So he's basically pretty much done a lot of good comedies.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of solid comedies on this list.
Very good ones.
You know, Anger Management, 50 First Dates, and The Longest Yard, all Adam
Very
Sandler
classic,
movies.
yeah.
Well, do you have a favorite out of those three?
Out of those three, I would probably have to say my favorite would be probably The Longest Yard.
Okay.
Man, mainly because I'm probably biased towards sports. I've always been a big sports fan, but
Right.
and I've always been a big comedy fan, and that movie gives you both, and so that kind of hit home to me. But
And it shows respect to Burt Reynolds because
Exactly.
he was in it as well.
Yep.
And he's in the original one, which I've
Yep.
actually never seen the original.
It's pretty good, man. But they didn't have as much technology back
Right.
then.
Is it more serious, the old one?
Very, very much so.
Okay.
Way more serious. I would have to say out of those three, my second favorite would probably be 50 First Dates.
That's a good one.
Just because, girl was having a hard time remembering
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
She had a rough time the whole movie, but very good actor.
Yeah, definitely.
Very good.
So the director, he knows his way around a comedy. He's created
Yes.
and directed many great comedies, and we've got a fantastic cast here, headlined by Chris Farley. He plays Tommy Callahan. David Spade, which David Spade is. I have actually tickets to see David Spade in Savannah
Oh,
at the
really?
beginning of June. But David Spade's
Lovely.
also coming to Knoxville and Lexington at the end of June as well.
Really?
Yeah, he's doing like
Oh,
a
I'm gonna have to
southern
catch one of
southern
them.
side. Yeah, and I think one of them is the place where I saw Pete Davidson back in March, which was
Okay.
Love
I love Pete, man.
it was a cool, it was a
Saturday
good
Night
show.
Live,
It was a
dude.
good. He I wasn't really a fan beforehand. I like to go to shows and
Mm-hmm.
such.
You should watch Bupkis.
The show with Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was Joe Pesci in the movie or show. His father.
I don't know
think
what
so.
he plays.
What's it on?
Pretty sure it's on Peacock. The
Oh.
TV show is. Now the movie's on Prime.
Okay, I have Prime. I don't have Peacock.
The
Though.
movie is great.
Okay. So yeah, so he was actually really entertaining, but yeah, David Spade's going to be there. You've got Bo Derek playing Tommy's stepmother, Dan Aykroyd playing Ray Zelinsky, Brian Dennehy playing Big Tom Callahan, and then you've got Rob Lowe as Tommy's older brother or stepbrother.
Love Rob
Paul.
Lowe, man. One of my favorite actors.
No, what was interesting about this, and I didn't know this before I did some research about the movie, was originally the movie was supposed to be primarily about Rob Lowe's character and Tommy Boy, Tommy. And it later changed, and then Rob Lowe's character became more of a secondary character.
Yeah.
But he really liked working on Wayne's World and was good friends with the producer of Saturday Night Live and Chris Farley. So they were like, do you want to stay on the movie? And he agreed to do the movie, but he's not credited in the opening credits. If you go back and notice, he's not credited, and he wanted it to
What?
be a surprise for the audience.
Oh,
cool.
okay.
And he wasn't featured
That's cool.
when it came out in any kind of
So
advertisement.
that was his own decision.
Yeah.
He didn't just get left out. He was like, I just want it to be a surprise for
Yeah.
my fans. That's cool.
So I thought that was a really cool thing.
That's nice, man.
Also, another interesting tidbit was that David Spade and Chris Farley had to fly back and forth from Toronto, where they were filming Tommy Boy, to New York to rehearse and perform on Saturday Night Live when they were still doing the show. So I don't know if you all have watched any behind the scenes of SNL, but it's one of the most hardest things to do. I used to want to be on there when I was younger, but I don't know if I could mentally take.
They went through a lot, man.
Yes.
They went through a lot. And
It's like week after week, learning your lines, writing the sketches, making it fit the host. And then in addition to that, going back and flying, because you're going to be tired flying back and forth to
Well, it ain't
Toronto.
no wonder Chris Farley was drinking 20 cups of coffee a day.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
So, and that's interesting you bring that up, because Chris Farley was sober during the filming.
Yeah.
But like you just mentioned, he had
Developed another.
another addiction, a coffee addiction. and he was drinking up to 27 cups of cappuccino, sometimes 3 at a time. And if you've seen the movie, and I assume most people by this point have seen Tommy Boy, he is full of energy in every single scene. I mean, so like you said, 27 cups of coffee, I can definitely see that.
Drink like 9 a day.
Yeah. No, what's the most you all have ever drank of coffee? Do you all are coffee drinkers?
Oh, yeah, I am.
She is.
Okay.
I
I
used
drank-
to be.
I used to make 3 full pots a day.
Okay. So that was like 9, 10, 12 coffee.
Probably.
Okay. Did you do just like black coffee or putting creamer, sugar?
Black coffee and sugar.
Okay.
Black coffee and about that much sugar. About half a cup of sugar.
Okay. So a little bit of coffee with the sugar.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Maybe
She might
a
as well have
splash of
just
cream if
drank
I'm
the sugar.
feeling-
Could you put like a stir stick in it and there would be so much sugar the stir stick would just
It would
stand up?
Yeah, it would. It'd stand up, dude, like you glued it in there, man.
One time when I was younger, my stepdad was making this oatmeal. And he'd made the oatmeal, but it was so hard that I was trying to stir it with a spoon and it was like sticking straight up. And I was like, I can't
Like
eat
trying
this.
to put it in a bucket of
Yeah.
frozen ice cream.
Yeah, I could almost pick it up in the bowl. It almost looked like a lollipop or something with the stick. I was like, I can't eat this oatmeal. He ended up getting upset about that.
Oh,
I'll
poor
never-
guy.
Yeah, well. So David Spade, if you know this film, you know that David Spade, not in real life, but within the movie, his character wears a wig.
Yeah.
But you don't realize it until one scene, and that's the only time it's ever really mentioned, to be honest with you. But it's that David Spade refused to let the set stylist work on his hair. This accounts for his hair tousled appearance in the film, which it is. Crew members would joke that his hair looked like a toupee, and that is what actually led to the gag where Richard's hair flies back like a toupee.
Yeah.
Because they said it looked like a toupee, so they actually added that scene later in the movie. Which is fun. I had no idea.
No, that's great.
I had
That
no
was perfect.
idea. Because
They
I
did a
had
good
totally forgotten that scene existed until we went back and watched it.
It's little things, man, that you miss in movies, man. It's always the little things that you miss. You
Yeah.
have to watch them a million times.
To
before
just
you
pick out
catch
every
it.
little
Yeah.
thing. So this movie had a budget of $20 million, and it made $32.6 worldwide, which is great. It made its money back, but it really made its money back on like VHS, DVD, and streaming.
Holy schnoz.
Because now everybody knows. I'd forgotten about that phrase as well. I had totally forgotten about that
That
phrase.
was my phrase throughout my entire childhood.
That was a good phrase, and I totally had
Was.
forgotten about that. Rotten Tomatoes score only 40%, but this is one of the highest audience scores at 90%, which means that most audience members really, really love this movie. And IMDb at 7.1, which is pretty high for a comedy,
Yeah.
because the similar themed Black Sheep.
I love Black Sheep.
The Black Sheep came out about a year later after this one.
Yep.
And I was doing research, and almost financially, it was almost identical to this. The audience score isn't quite as high, but
one was hilarious.
they're neck and neck, and they're structured very much the same. Both the movies, if you go back and watch. So let's get into a little bit of the plot and the story. Jeremiah, you want to tell a little bit about the plot? Or Amber, you're welcome to as well.
Well, I mean, basically, we covered a little bit of it, but basically, man, they're just going on a rat race. It's horrible. They have so much failures.
Because basically,
From-
Tommy is taking like 7 or 8 years to graduate college.
Right? Yeah.
He's almost like Pauly Shore's character from like
And
Son-in-Law.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
like where it takes him so Crawl, I think is his name in Son-in-Law. Because Crawl's been there for a long time. And I get the same feeling that, Tommy Boy has been in school for quite a while. Because at one point, David Spade, I think his character's name is Richard, he's like, Tommy's like, I've been in school 7 or 8 years. I graduated. He said, yeah, most of those people are like doctors after that amount of time. So basically, Tommy's coming back. He's set to inherit his
Yeah.
dad's brake pads, right?
Yeah.
Like a brake pad
That's
factory.
all they do. Yeah.
And it's Callahan's.
Yeah.
And so therefore his father has a surprise for Tommy. that he's getting married, and he's getting married to Bo Derek, who happened to be to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever seen another Bo Derek movie other than this. Now I've seen that she's in other movies, but I've only seen her in this movie. So it was kind of playing up on her sex appeal from her 70s movies for this.
Exactly.
But if you didn't really know her, that might be lost.
Yeah.
But I knew enough about her to know about it. So pretty much Big Tommy Callahan dies at the wedding.
Yeah.
And I'd forgotten that it was at the wedding.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
they were in the middle of singing on stage.
Yeah. Tommy Boy was up there singing.
Yep.
And when he started singing, my mind was like, oh yeah, Big Tommy collapses
Has a heart attack.
and
right?
dies.
Yeah.
Because he's rocking too hard.
Yep.
And so that point forward, David Spade and Tommy Boy hit the road to try to sell brake pads.
So they don't have to shut the factory down.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
It's been like 6 months since I've seen it. but
Yep.
That's the movie of my
Yep.
childhood.
Yeah, it is. That definitely. Now I do have the original Tommy Boy movie poster from when it came out in the 90s. The reason being is
You're older than me.
though, well, I worked at the movie theater, but that's not,
Oh.
and I worked a couple of different times, but throughout my life, when you're the projectionist or manager, you can get the posters
Yeah.
pretty
Oh, man.
easily.
That's awesome.
And I've accumulated a nice collection over the years.
That's awesome.
And I've sold some of them too over the years.
I would do, man.
Yeah, those have fetched me quite a pretty
especially
penny.
if they're still in the frame.
Yeah. Well, some are in the like a little tube. They've never even been out of the tube. Like you know those little
still rolled up.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the
Wow,
little orange
okay.
tube. So basically, hijinks ensue as they're on this road trip, and it's not only because they're two different personalities.
Absolutely.
Tommy Boy is kind of more like the carefree
Yeah.
frat boy, fun-loving guy, hyper, and Richard is the
Sarcastic.
smug, nerdy, like let's
Do-gooder.
let's get the job done. So not only do their personalities clash, but there's a lot of different hijinks with the car that they're driving,
Oh my gosh.
which
that
I had
poor car.
forgot. I'd completely forgot about
Oh
that.
my gosh. The best scene in that
deer.
movie, man. When he went to back up to put the gas in, he didn't need to back up 6 inches to fit that nozzle from the gas
Yep.
pump in, and he backs up like 10 foot and rips the door off and rips it off of the hinges and puts it back up, and dude opens the door. He goes to open it and buffs a scratch out, and
Yeah, I
he
forgot
opens
about
it
that
and
little
the
buff.
door
That was a nice
fell
little
out.
touch.
Yeah, the door fell off, and he was like,
What
Chris
did
is
you
like, "What
do? I had completely forgot about all the car stuff because that car.
It's the hidden gem in that
It's
movie.
his
It really is.
Pride and joy.
Yes,
and it just
it
gets
is.
trashed.
Well, it gets trashed right away when he sets those M&Ms up on the dash.
Oh yeah,
That's the first thing. It escalates if you think about it.
it does. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because I'd forgot when he set those M&Ms because he rips the bag open, sets it up there, and I'm like, they're going down to that vent,
Into the
Yep.
dash.
and there they go, almost the whole bag.
I love when they hit the deer and they put it in the car.
Now that's another thing. Would you put it? All right, let's say you've hit a deer, and I hit a deer a few weeks ago. Actually, a deer hit me. I got a deer in the front of my
Oh, shit.
car. It hit me a few weeks ago. I never once thought about stopping the car, getting out, which I was by myself, picking up a deer on the side of the road and putting it in my back seat. Where are you going to
No.
take it? Where were they taking this deer?
I guess
To
they
sell
were
brake
hungry,
pads?
bro. I don't know, man. They were going to cut the tenderloins off and leave it at the next motel, dude.
Because that would not be like. I would be so afraid. Like there's also a movie called Cabin Fever.
Oh man, that's scary.
And they hit it, and
movie
he hit the
messed
deer
me
in
up.
Cabin Fever as well.
Yeah.
It's a little more serious in that movie than this one, but still, anytime this is just a lesson to anyone out there driving: if you hit a deer, just leave it.
Yeah.
Don't put it in your vehicle.
Yep. Don't.
We want you to make it
that's
home safely.
Yeah. Even if you put it in your trunk and you open your trunk, I hope you've got elbow pads and a helmet on and knee pads and everything, because that thing's going to come out of there kicking.
And that thing did not seem to want to get out of that car until that car was demolished.
Yep.
Every window
The whole
broken.
soft
Yep.
top off.
The soft top tore up. The seats, everything smashed.
That's great.
But I guess that deer's getting revenge because they hit it.
Yeah.
Now, why did they hit it? I forgot. What were they doing to make them hit it?
He fell asleep, I think.
Was that what it
They were
was?
driving.
It seems like he was dozing off.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then-
When he hit
yeah,
it.
that'll wake you up.
Yeah.
That would definitely.
Yeah, because there were bright lights on the deer. I remember that part. Because the deer was all like...
So we've got so basically they end up saving
The factory.
the factory, but there
Yeah.
are a few hiccups along the way, like like the lady that Tommy's kind of interested in. She doesn't file away her files, and then you've got Rob Lowe's character as Paul,
yeah.
and there's a lot of funny lines that Paul says quickly and quietly, like when, for example, there's a funny scene where they go cow tipping,
Yeah.
and then Chris Farley, Tommy Boy, falls down in the mud.
Yep.
Cleans him off with all the gas.
So as he's starting to wash him off, Paul is upset because his boots have all this mud, and he's like, "These boots are worth more than your life." And if you don't listen carefully, you'll miss that line. But the way he says it, I don't know, it just cracks me up because Paul is like very serious in the movie. Like he doesn't
is.
smile, he doesn't
Exactly.
laugh.
He don't crack a smile at all.
No, he's like he's
mad all the
walking
time.
around, drinking beer,
Yeah.
and all this bad stuff happens to him.
Yep.
When he goes to use the bathroom on the
The electric
general-
fence.
Was it the fence?
Yeah, yeah. And then like originally, like when what does he do? And then he's trying to, I think he's trying to break into the factory, and that dog comes really close.
Oh yeah.
But then he does something, and it makes something falls down, and he hits that chain,
Yep.
and then a dog. So he's always beat up throughout
Yep.
the entire
Cut
movie.
the chain loose. Yeah, the dog grabbed him.
And if you think
in a
about it-
bad part.
Paul was the only one that suffered that because he's the one who went to jail.
Yep.
The
he is.
woman got away.
Yep.
His what was his wife's name?
Oh shoot.
Beverly.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Beverly got away because Beverly and
Wow.
Paul
No,
were actually.
She acted like she didn't know any.
But she
of
knew
the-
nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was trying to plead play dumb, I guess. But the cast, we've got Chris Farley, like we said, David Spade, Bo Derek, Dan Aykroyd, Brian Dennehy, and Rob Lowe. And what's kind of sad in a way, not only Chris Farley has passed, but Big Tom, Brian Dennehy, has passed away as well.
Oh man,
So
I
there's-
didn't know that.
Yeah, both. Sorry to bring you down.
Daggone, dude.
I know. But yeah, both of them are no longer with us. But I think it's got a great cast. You know what I mean? It really does.
It really does, man. That was a great cast.
And the female lead, the one Tommy's interested in, I don't think I've seen her in any other movie, to be honest.
I don't think I have. either.
I neglected to write her name down. I meant to, but I just remembering her face.
The lady that he had the crush on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
I
on the
don't
boat
know,
together at
man.
the end.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen her in anything else.
Me either. That might have been her only big
Her only
break.
big thing.
It was her chance, yeah.
Could be. What about, do you have a favorite or least favorite scene, you all? There's so many to choose from. I don't have a least favorite scene.
So I don't either.
I don't
but
either.
My favorite is when he is selling the brake pads and he's got the little cars on the desk.
That was a nice little one. And
Oh, the horror!
because he did have the brake pads sold to that guy, didn't he?
Yeah, he
But he
did. Had
continued
himself,
on.
yeah.
I'm like,
David
Tommy,
Spade was like, dude, stop. And he was like, no, get away from me.
he thought this analogy of this wrecking car that's on fire with these kids inside of it is going to be the best pitch.
This is what would have happened if you would have bought my brake pads.
So yeah, and what that they didn't even have a sale up until that point, did they?
Nope. But that guy, didn't he eventually end up calling him back and buying their brake pads, and that's
Yeah.
what broke him even?
Yeah.
And they were like, where you at?
Yeah, that's when the
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is
Oh, it's you.
this movie has so many of those little moments that are just
Gold.
little golden moments,
Yeah.
and they're sprinkled throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. It's
What
great,
What
man.
about? Do you have any others that come to mind that? Which we
the
mentioned.
bunk bed. When the bunk bed collapsed.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. We mentioned the toupee scene.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
The coat scene.
Fat guy, little coat. Now that was brought up because they said that on the Saturday Night Live when they were on there filming and writing and stuff, that David Spade and Chris Farley used to do that all the time, just when there was nothing really going on. So they incorporated it into this movie. And what also is funny,
That's
around
awesome.
that time, so David Spade looking out at this woman that's about to go nude swimming.
Yeah.
So he's about to engage. For one thing, did you remember how those that hotel was? There's a hotel, like the pool was in the very middle.
Yeah.
Hotel all the way around.
All the way around.
That
yeah.
woman was really brave
Yeah, to be
to do that.
diving nude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
maybe she's a fan of the Yankees.
True. So all the things that Tommy says to David Spade as Richard, everything that he said, Richard's response is just hilarious.
It is. It's great.
It's so because he
It's
never
great.
acknowledges what he's about to
Yeah.
do ever, and he
Nope.
just lays there in bed and doesn't even acknowledge it. And then it cuts to the scene where they're laying in bed. It's about, I don't know, early in the morning.
Yeah.
And then that's when he
Dawn,
says
yeah.
that Yankees comment, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Maybe she's a fan of the Yankees.
Because he's like, yeah, I think he asked him if he's awake.
Yeah.
And then he says some other kind of comment like that. So there's a lot of little funny little insults like that.
I love it.
But the movie has heart too, if you think about it.
It does.
Because they weren't going to, and a lot of those kind of, I think Black Sheep does as well, because it does, lead into like, it's got a good moral, like, you can, even if you think you can't do it, you can do something. You can overcome,
Yeah.
whatever
Any
obstacles.
obstacle. There you go.
And you can come and, he saved the day basically,
Yep.
because nobody thought, if you think about it, even the vice president of Callahan Auto,
Never thought Tommy had a chance.
and really
That's
was
why
like
he
wanted
sent him.
just to
Yeah.
sell off
Mhm.
and get the stock. So Tommy did come through.
He did.
Now,
Did
what
a
do you
good
think
job.
about any of the music of the score? This is a few little just things from the soundtrack, but a lot of the music that was in the soundtrack or in the movie, it wasn't really that type of music. If you think about it, I don't remember there being any like heavy besides the songs they like sing to on the radio.
The montage scene, yeah. And then they were like, "You don't have to change. You can change it. I don't care what we listen to."
That was a good one too.
That was a great scene.
Because I had forgotten about. I mean, so many scenes I had really
Yep.
forgotten about, and that was definitely one of them.
Yeah, that's definitely a high point. It is.
That's like when their relationship started.
It
to
is.
change.
That's when they started liking each
Yep.
other, really. That was like the turning point of the movie. That's when they started being
Yes.
teammates.
Yeah. Here was the song they were listening to.
Yep.
So-
You don't have to turn it. Well, you don't have to either.
Do you remember that scene when they got pulled over and they just jumped out the car and was like, "The bee"?
Yes. Yes. I had forgotten about that as well.
I'm gonna try that.
And it worked. I thought about that at the time.
No,
Will
do
this work?
not.
Just get out and start you running. The bees! The bees!
That's
Could
great.
you imagine, like, driving down the road, windows down, bee comes in, you're allergic, and it stings you on the face, and you're going like 75?
I hope you got somebody driving with you that ain't allergic.
Or I hate when you're like driving and somehow like a spider out of nowhere jumps on you.
That happened to me 2 days ago.
Were you swerving?
God.
No, I had the window down. I was sitting there trying to just knock it right out the window.
I hate it.
Jumped right onto my sleeve.
Oh, it's jumped on the sleeve?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There was a spider last night up on my ceiling, and I was sitting down, and I just happened to look up, and I was like, "What the?" And I'm always afraid it's going to jump on me.
Oh, yeah.
and I just don't want a
We were
spider
talking
on me.
about-
I just
Uh-uh.
so I ended up getting like
Arachnophobia.
yes, which I've only watched one time.
Me too.
One time was it. So I got a paper towel roll, and like it was near the edge, so I was like in the crevice, so I was like I couldn't miss
Couldn't,
it,
yeah.
and it could jump on me or get away. So I had to wait And it took like 5 or 6 minutes for it to crawl out. And I was just standing like this, trying to do like that. And finally I went, ah! And I smacked it.
Did you get it?
I did get it. But
Oh,
it
man.
fell down, though, on the floor, but luckily it was dead. And then I had like
would've
3
stomped
paper...
it like 3 or 4 times.
did.
Double tap.
I did. I got like paper towel, and then I smashed it, and then I stepped on it once.
I just had
There you go.
one calling on my phone today before we left to come over here. I set it down and I was
Throw
like,
that
"Look."
phone away.
Oh,
Burn it.
did you ever find your phone?
No, I did not, but my beautiful woman here bought me another
Well,
one.
that was nice of you. That was nice
It was
of her.
very nice of her. It's way nicer than the last one I had. So y'all can keep it if you find it. Don't tell her you found it, because she'll probably take this one.
I wonder what that could have been. Huh. But yeah, I think the music in the movie fit the movie, and
It was
these little
great.
songs like this.
Yeah.
The Carpenters. I don't know if you know the band Sonic Youth, but they have
absolutely.
they have
we were
a
just talking about them earlier.
okay. They have a
Right before
version
we
of this
came
song.
here.
Do you know their version of this song?
I did not know they had a version of this song. No, I did not.
Yeah, I just wowed him earlier with a Misfits song.
Okay.
He thought it
Oh,
was
that
a
did blow my
Metallica
mind.
song.
I did- Die, 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 my darling. I did not know that was a Misfits song.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, I thought that was Metallica.
Okay. Let's see if we can get this
You
here.
kind of actually ruined my youth.
Sorry. I love this song.
I want to throw out a trivia question to everyone out there, and you all too. This song is also featured in a 1996 horror movie,
96.
which the franchise still is going to this day.
Dude, that is a wide open question. Everybody's redoing everything now.
Is it Halloween?
It is not Halloween, but good guess though. I'd say the last one of these came out 2023. Yeah, last year maybe. And I'm sure that you all. I know everyone's heard of the movie, and yeah, I'm sure you all have seen it too. Maybe not all of them, but at least I think there's 6. The killer's name in the first movie is Billy and Stu.
Is it Scream?
Scream.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Wait,
This
This
song's
was in
featured.
Scream?
Billy is played by Shaggy. I can't think of his name.
Matthew.
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
No, he's not Billy.
He's not Billy?
No, he's in the movie, but he's not. He's Stu.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Billy is Skeet Ulrich, and this movie,
Is that the one that Billy and him are stabbing each
Yeah.
other at the end of the...
and this song is playing when Billy first climbs through Sydney's window, and her dad hears a
man.
noise and the starting to come in there.
It's not playing loud whenever they...
No, it's not playing loud at all, but it's barely playing.
Wow.
So that's how I even came to know about this. Know about
So
this
who
version.
is this?
This is
Sonic Youth.
Sonic Youth and what's the song called?
Superstar.
Superstar.
And the other one was the Carpenters, the original.
Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you all have seen all the Scream movies, haven't you?
I've seen the first one. I don't do
I've
scary
seen
movies.
all
Oh, you don't do scary movies?
No, she's...
Really?
She's...
Well, then we need to do a scary movie next time, and you need to join it.
No, just
Dude,
You
read
have-
the
you want to
wiki.
do horror movies, I got you. I
Which-
know a lot of horror
Okay,
movies.
we
Dude,
need to do we'll do one.
Let's do
Watch
like the
Poughkeepsie
Insidious
tapes. That's
series
about
or
as
something.
Scary as I'll get.
Okay.
It's like Blair Witch, like the found footage.
Okay.
stuff.
I think I've seen the preview for it, like when I've scrolled by it. I don't think I've ever watched it though, but I think I've heard of it.
I used to go to Votech in high school, and I illegally pirated it at Votech in the computer class, and we all watched it.
When I was younger, I was always scared of horror movies. When I would go into like, the video store and I would see like the posters, they would always creep me out and scare me. And
Really?
when I first saw, first movie I saw that was scary was Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare,
Yeah.
which I've heard is one of the worst out of all of
It
them.
is. It's horrible.
But when I was younger,
They
because
shouldn't have made
I was younger when I saw it, and I had nightmares about it.
Yeah.
And but now horror movies are
Dude,
some of my favorite movies.
mine too, man. Like when I was a kid, Chucky, dude, he was big when I was a kid.
There's
I
a
was
Chucky
born in
series going
95.
on.
My
Yeah.
kid
Oh, it's
is-
great.
Is it okay?
Dude, it
Terrified of
really is
Chucky.
good. Like there's so many different Chuckies in this new one. There's not just one Chucky.
Okay.
There's like several different altered personalities of Chucky. That's what makes this series great.
Okay.
But Chucky used to always scare me as a kid. I was born in 95. I'm 29. Like 99 and early 2000s, Chucky was taking over, man.
Right.
Like, you know, he was like, you know, oh, it's a doll now. It's not a human being, you know. It just freaked people out. So I get into, you know, actually watching other scary movies and stuff, like actually trying to get into, you know, Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees and all them. Well, dude, the best horror series I think that is out right now would have to be, it's The Conjuring, Insidious, Annabelle, The Nun. They're all tied in together, dude. If you actually watch all of them in order, dude, it will blow your mind. Like, it won't only scare you till you have to use the bathroom a few times, but it will also, like, it'll make you want to watch more scary movies. That's what really got me into horror.
Oh, really?
And I've been, you know, the first Insidious came out, I want to say in like
I did
2009
like the first one.
or something,
So the
2010.
So Insidious is great, but Conjuring is the only horror movie rated R just because it's scary.
Oh yeah,
Because there's no cuss words in it.
Uh-uh.
There's no nudity.
It's just
And there's
fear.
not a lot of gore or anything
Yep.
like that, but it's mainly just fear.
Jump scares, man.
Oh.
And it is very all those. Now I've seen
Thank
them
you.
all. There's only one nun, right? Or is there two? Is
There's
there
two, I think.
No, there's The Nun.
Yeah.
There's two.
Okay, I've only seen
But-
the first nun, but I've seen all the rest of them though.
The Lady in Black. I think The Lady in Black has something to do
Is that-
with tying into The Nun. I
Okay.
think that was
The
the
one with
woman
Daniel
that turned
Radcliffe?
into the nun,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
Are you talking about the movie with Daniel Radcliffe?
No.
The Woman in
No.
Black?
The Woman in Black? No.
There's two of those.
Yeah.
The
Is
one-
there?
Daniel Radcliffe might have been in this last one they made.
He was in the first one.
I don't think so. No, not Daniel Radcliffe.
You'd have to go to. I recommend everyone downloading the IMDb app.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have that?
Yes.
That's my number one app. I look at
Yeah.
every single day, every single day. But yeah, we'll definitely do a horror movie. We'll definitely do a horror movie for sure.
Oh yeah, I guess he was. Never mind, he was in it. He was Arthur. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I did not realize that was Daniel Radcliffe. That's my bad.
I'm a huge Daniel fan.
Sorry.
So, what do you
I
think
don't
about
watch
the
Harry Potter.
originality of Tommy Boy?
For
I
the
would give it
90s,
a-
was great.
Yeah, I thought so too because I don't really know any other. I mean,
7.5 out of 10.
I mean, it follows that formula of like
Yeah.
you know, about the 20-minute mark because usually their movies are cut into 3 acts, Act 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
20 minutes. The second act is usually about an hour, or well, not an hour, about 40 minutes, and then the last act is another 20 to 30 minutes.
Yep.
So the first act sets up what's going on. Tommy's dad dies, so that's pretty much the end of the first act.
Mm-hmm.
Starting the second act, he's on the journey, goes through the journey. At the end of the second act, there's another, because you think, oh, they're selling all these brake
Climax,
pads, selling all
yeah.
these brake pads, and then that's when Paul messes up the computer system.
Yep.
And another funny scene that I've forgotten about. So Paul's in there, he's acting like he's on the phone. She walks in, and then him and her, the girl, are talking, and he's standing next to this little suction thing that sucks things.
Yep.
And then his shirt gets stuck in it. And then he's standing there talking, and all of a sudden his shirt just gets ripped off. He doesn't say anything. He picks up his jacket, throws it over his shoulder, and just walks out the door.
Great,
It
dude.
was so silly.
Great.
Oh, it made me laugh.
Yeah.
Because he's like a buffoon. Every silly thing happens to him, but he tries to be so cool.
Yeah.
Like he really tries to be.
I didn't fall.
Yeah.
He's like, if he trips, he's going to do 3 push-ups before he stands
Yeah,
up.
exactly. So, what about the poster? You saw the poster. We shared it today. I think if you see that poster, it represents the movie well.
It tells you enough about the movie to want to watch it.
Yeah.
Because there's the car and them just, basically ripping at each other's shirts and stuff.
Yeah,
man.
and you can
I
tell
mean,
right there it's going to be a road
Yeah.
movie. It's going to be about these two opposing personalities,
Yeah.
and it's going to be fun,
Yeah.
and it is. It's all
man
all those
versus
things.
man, stupid versus smart,
Yes.
whatever you
Dumb
want to
versus
call it.
dumber.
So, what's your final thoughts on Tommy Boy, Jeremiah?
Man, I'll be honest with you. That was one of the best movies I've watched in my childhood. But just the fact that, two guys with such different personalities were able to, become friends and get through things together.
Right.
That right there was enough for me to be like, wow, that was, this movie was, pretty much just stupid. It was a great movie. I'm not saying
It's
that, but
slapstick.
Right.
it didn't take much to put that movie together.
No.
But somebody with enough heart and character to them put that movie together.
'Cause they did put-
would be,
And you made a
Peter
good
Segal.
point that they do put aside their differences
Exactly.
and learn to come together for this goal, which is to say a common
They
goal.
both got the same goal,
Yeah.
man. That's the moral of the story. It don't matter what you think. It matters about what your goal is at the end. If you can put your differences aside and face your fears and make a goal, dude, and you set out to make that goal, and you actually, the thing is making a goal, but if you actually accomplish it, that's
And achieve it, yeah.
that's what it's all about, dude.
Definitely. So I'm glad we dove into Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Great.
Next week, you gonna come back in next week?
If you want me to, I'll be
All right,
here, buddy.
we'll do a horror movie next week.
Oh, that'd be great.
I drop you off for that one.
Whichever one you want to do,
We'll make sure we keep the lights on though, so you won't be scared. We won't play any scary music.
You
Heck
should
yeah,
do
dude.
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy. Okay, we could do that one. It's been a minute since I've watched that
You know
one.
what?
I've never
It's
seen it.
So funny. They were trying to find, fun fact about that movie, they were trying to find a shoe for everyone to wear that looked stupid,
Yeah.
ridiculous, but futuristic. And they picked up Crocs. And now look how popular Crocs are.
I do remember that, and I do remember when Crocs first came out. It was like you were like a leper if you wore them. Like people would make fun of you,
I have like 3 pairs.
and
4.
they're so comfortable.
I know.
Like but now they're like everywhere,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Mhm.
And they're way more expensive now than
Yes.
what they used to be.
Yes, I totally agree. So thank you all for tuning in to Real Talk tonight. Stay tuned. We're going to do another episode of The Other People Show in just a moment. But before you do that, please go to all of our social media pages, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, The Other People Show. Thank you for tuning in on 92.5 WLSD, The Vault. Or you can visit WLSDradio.com. We will be back in just a moment.